presentation on the Study Abroad website for this for Study Abroad Week. So let anybody know that even if it's past Study Abroad Week and they were interested in attending these sessions and couldn't do so live, that they should still register for Study Abroad Week, and that will gain them access to all of the recordings and the slides for the presentation. So, all right, I'll get started now. Welcome everybody. Just so that you know, this session is being recorded. While I am speaking, I do not have another person manning the chat for me, so I will ask that you just ask questions aloud. I would prefer if we kept them to the end, but it's totally fine if you need to pop off and jump in. But ideally, if you can stick with us for about a half an hour, that's as much time as we'll spend together, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions about our programs. I hope you are here to learn about honors internship programs abroad or off campus. We tend to call them honors study away programs because we do offer some domestic programs that use the same study abroad model to take advantage of interesting cities around the US and the professional and academic opportunities that they may offer. I did want to mention, just like at the bottom of this slide, all of our internship programs and all of our study abroad programs are for all UNC students. You do not officially have to be in Honors Carolina in order to participate in our programs. You just need a 3.0 GPA. And that actually holds for all of our seminars on campus as well. We have some great discussion-based seminars, and I know that sometimes they're competitive to get into, but I also know that several students have benefited from taking some of those courses. So don't be shy. If there is one that really interests you, do reach out to us so that you can enroll and take part. We are an open program. We are not an exclusive honors college. All right, let's begin. Obviously, there are some major benefits from doing any study abroad. One major benefit is to gain real-world experience tied to your career path. I would say for an internship program, it could directly be tied to your career path, or it can be an exploration of a different field that might be an interest of yours, but might not be connected to your major. And that might provide you some insight into the directions that you choose to take, either with the remainder of your academic program or with your career. So see it both as an exploration or as a way to solidify your understanding of what lived work would be in the field that you're hoping to explore, and help you gain a little experience as you head on that path. We all understand that cross-cultural competence is an important skill in a growingly connected world, and some of those personal and professional opportunities that arise from individuals who have developed these skills are very apparent, but extra so when you've had a chance to work abroad and in somebody else's systems and according to somebody else's rules, which is one of the major things that we think is a huge benefit for studying abroad. And certainly all students who study abroad, particularly in an internship program, will build skills and traits that employers are looking for: curiosity, flexibility, confidence, independence, all of these things, creativity, initiative. These are things that you can take with you. They're transferable skills, and you can cite certain opportunities that you have had to flex and adjust to a different environment when you are working towards your academic program or towards your professional goals. I'm going to talk a little bit about the featured programs, the programs that we run through Honors Carolina first, and then I'll talk more generally about study abroad and the application process. So the first one I'd like to talk about is the Honors Semester in Cape Town program. It generally runs in the fall, so we have a deadline upcoming in February for our program this coming autumn. It'll actually be spring in Cape Town on the Southern Hemisphere. It's an amazing program that has started right post the fall of apartheid. And so it was built on the structure of how do we build a more equitable civil society and democratic institutions post the collapse of an inequitable government. So what you do is you take 2 courses. In the coming autumn, it will be led by Pam Cooper, who is from the Department of English and Comparative Literature, and who is South African by birth. So she's very excited to bring another group back to South Africa. Alongside a history course with a local faculty member from the University of Cape Town, who has been very excited to be engaged with UNC students. So you'll take those 2 seminars 1 day a week, and the remainder of the week, you'll be in an internship with some sort of organization that helps build democratic institutions or civil society in South Africa. So in Cape Town, that can look like interning with the Red Cross Children's Hospital if you're interested in medicine. It could look like interning with constitutional lawyers who are working to improve the already very progressive constitution in South Africa. It could look like working at a startup accelerator that's trying to build skills in one of the townships so that people can continue their growth and development and achieving their goals. So it's really open to all different majors. And we think that you're going to get, no matter what career path you're on, an incredible experience learning about a very different country and learning about the complexity of living in South Africa alongside doing the work and gaining skills in your internship. Our second featured program is a program that we run both in the fall and the spring terms. That's our honor semester in London. In the fall and the spring, we run an internship track. We also run just an academic track. So if you want to participate in that program without doing an internship, that is also a possibility. And then in the spring term, we also offer a track in partnership with the SHUFORD program in entrepreneurship. So you could potentially complete your minor in entrepreneurship whilst also taking a seminar in London and doing an internship in innovative business in London. You'd stay in the central London at Winston House is where your classes will be. The faculty director for this coming fall is going to be Dr. Pam Silberman from the Gilling School of Global Public Health. We're really excited that she'll be there. And then you'll see the other courses that are offered. So while Cape Town has a very lockstep, like you take the 2 same seminars and all of your customization is through your internship, on the London program, you do have a selection of a few different courses that you can take, almost all of which have gen eds in addition to some of the major and minor credit you can get there, alongside your 20-hour-a-week internship. And once again, interns in London are across a variety of fields. We have students doing business and innovation. We have students in internships in public service, in social investment. We have students in the arts and in museums, and it always is a fantastic experience with 2 full-time staff on the ground in London with you. Our next featured program is another one that we've been running for probably 20 years now. That is our honors semester in public policy and global affairs in Washington, D.C. Several students have actually paired our Washington, D.C. program with other programs because they know that they might want to work in policy or that they might want to work in D.C. after graduation. So we often see students either doing an exploratory semester in their, say, sophomore year, figuring out an internship in the type of field that they might want to go into, or they might take the program in the spring of their senior year, which will have them already in DC and therefore being able to network and attend interviews without much hassle since you will be living and working in DC. This program is always available in the spring semester, and it does have a focus on public policy and global affairs, splitting half of the time between domestic policy and foreign policy. So each week, roughly, you would switch off between those 2 different areas. But those policy areas obviously are customizable based on what your interests are. So we've had folks working with the EPA, we've had folks interning with think tanks. Some people, we inevitably have a handful of people who are on the Hill, but we really want students to be in internships that are directly related to policy, either from a domestic or an international policy perspective. The SHUFORD Honor Semester in Entrepreneurship is another internship program that we offer through Honors Carolina. This is again in partnership with the SHUFORD program in entrepreneurship. And it's really interesting, as I mentioned before with the London program, basically these two programs start together in a boot camp scenario in Durham. And so we start here and do a very intensive boot camp before the programs diverge, the tracks diverge, and one set of students goes to London, and the other set of students identifies a target city that is a hotbed for some sort of innovation or the host of the organization that you might want to work with. And so students take the remainder of their classes on this program remotely while doing their internship mostly full-time. It's a really interesting opportunity for students who are independent, maybe just want to be with a smaller cohort of individuals, but also complete the minor in entrepreneurship while they are pursuing their internship. We have traditionally had a program in Silicon Valley alone, but we expanded to multiple different cities when we saw the pandemic putting some sort of damper on our cohort programs. And it worked out so nicely that we actually decided to continue with this model. So that is also only offered in the spring. And we see lots of different opportunities and connections, both through the minor and through Honors Carolina, to do some fascinating work through this program. And then the final internship opportunity is a little bit of a mixture of intensive language study and internship. So the WEIR Honors Fellowship in Beijing and Shanghai is a program for students who are pursuing Mandarin language study. You'd spend the entire spring semester studying Mandarin language, all of your coursework very intensely. They say that you will raise proficiency by a year and a half. So basically 3 semesters of language study in 1 semester. It is very intense. And for the person who is ready to take their initial forays into Mandarin language to the next level, to the professional level, this is an amazing program. In fact, it was designed not with your traditional Chinese language majors in mind, but in those students who have taken a little Chinese language and realized that professional capability in that language is going to be very useful to them for their careers. So it is meant to kind of catapult someone who might not have as advanced Chinese language to a more advanced level. Following the spring, you would take an internship for UNC credit in Shanghai. And both of these programs are connected through and supported by CET, which is one of our strongest partners in East Asia, and particularly in China. It's an amazing program. And what's really exciting about it, beyond just the experience that you have, is that it is fully funded beyond the normal cost of attendance at UNC for the spring semester. So you're getting funded for all of the additional costs beyond just your normal tuition and fees at UNC for the semester. All right, so those are the really exciting opportunities that I have to share with you. But I think it's always good to go through some of the logistics of study abroad and some of the major questions that might be on your mind as well. So talking about academics and credit, while you're abroad, as I mentioned, for each of the programs, you can earn elective credit, you can earn gen eds. You will definitely get your experiential education gen ed for all programs that you take abroad, even if it's courses that wouldn't normally carry that gen ed. The fact that you're studying abroad carries that EE credit for you. And as you can see, major and minor requirements in addition to languages. Those definitely will require departmental approval, but the Study Abroad Office also has a pre-approved credits page where you can look at any courses or any programs that you might need, and that can help you understand what credits will transfer as. I will say, with all the honors credits that you're seeing on these programs, they are UNC credits, so they don't need to transfer. There are occasional courses that carry an HNRS number, which is an honors course number, that you will need to seek departmental approval if you want that for your major or minor, because that is not automatically a departmental course. And then with language, of course, like with the WEIR fellowship, as I mentioned before, depending on where you are in your language study, that will inform how those Chinese language credits will come back. So it's always worth a conversation with the Asian Studies department about that. We do recommend that you meet with your academic advisor before applying, because they can help you strategize about when the right time is to take the program. So for instance, some students in professional degree programs have a very heavily sequenced coursework in their junior and senior year. And so they feel like the semester that they can take abroad is going to be in their sophomore year. And that's totally fine. It's just a different way of looking at the world and looking at your opportunities to study abroad. With some of the STEM fields, some of the highly sequenced courses are actually in your first couple of years, so you might have a little bit more freedom and the ability to double up on some of your coursework better in your junior or senior year, because a lot of the upper level science courses, for instance, don't have labs, so it's a lot easier to double up on those courses. So think about the course of study that you're pursuing, have a conversation with your academic advisor. And I did want to mention this point at the bottom here. If you have a high number of transfer credits, because the honors coursework is with honors UNC credit, you don't have to worry as much about that. So actually, we have several students who have lots of transfer credits that are coming in that were worried about taking other programs because they have a cap on their transfer credits, but they've done multiple Honors Carolina programs because they're all UNC courses. So you don't need to worry about transfer credit caps. Program costs are a very important consideration for when you're about to study abroad. Each program has a budget. So if you look at the brochure page, it'll show you, if you go, I think it's like the third or fourth tab across the top is a costs/scholarship tab. And it kind of goes over the costs that you would be billed for the program and the costs that are out of pocket for the program. And then it gives you a little bit more information about financial aid. What I will say is that if you receive financial aid from UNC, your regular financial aid package should be applied to most of your study abroad expenses. There are some exceptions, but they are few and far between. So you can assume that in a semester, that the same package that you have will be applied in line with the costs of the program. And if you want a little bit more specifics about that for your own situation, the Office of Scholarships and Student Aid can actually provide you an estimated package to help you prepare. So in order to do that, you email fa_studyabroad@unc.edu and include all of these things that you see in the bullet below so that you can get the proper estimate. I will say that there are additional scholarships that you can apply for, particularly if you already receive aid from UNC, and it's really easy to apply. In the context of your application, there's a little tick box that says, I would like to be considered for additional scholarships for this program, and then you will be a part of the pool who is applying for the additional scholarship aid for those programs. Another really important consideration is that because your regular financial aid can apply to your study abroad program, often you will have more non-loan support, right, scholarships or grants available to you if you apply in the semester program. So for these internship programs, they are all semester programs. And so your aid will definitely convey. When you're looking at summer programs, the aid tends to only come in loan form. And so I just want to caution you that sometimes while the semester programs look more expensive, with the additional support of your financial aid package and additional scholarship aid, they can actually be more affordable out of pocket than sometimes a summer program would be. So that is definitely something to think about when you are strategizing for which kind of program you'd like to do. As I mentioned before, you can get these slides later, but you can also make an appointment with Sharon to get some more estimates about how to afford your study abroad program or study away program. How to apply. We highly recommend attending a Study Abroad 101 session, which are held pretty regularly, and you can find where those are on the Study Abroad website. They're also advertised on their Facebook page and their Instagram. Before you meet with anybody, though, we definitely recommend you research programs and the credits that you need. So think about what your initial thoughts are. You can certainly change them from there, but going in and saying, I just don't know where or what I want to do to study abroad doesn't give your advisor as much to help you with. But if you look at a few programs and say, this one really appealed to me, or I'd really like to get this credit, or I need to have this kind of credit if I'm going to take an entire semester away, or I'd really like an internship opportunity. That's something I'd like to do abroad. Those things will help in a meeting with a study abroad advisor to be more effective, and they can help you better with that information. Then you'd complete your HeelsAbroad application, and then if necessary, a host institution application. And when you apply for the program, an application is not committing to the program. It's just an application to say, I would like to do this program. So you'll have at least a couple weeks after you understand whether you accepted to the program and after you've received your financial aid package for the semester to sign your study abroad contracts. You sign that after acceptance. And then for preparing you to go, we have pre-departure conference and pre-departure orientation specific to the programs to prepare you for all of the things you need to do before you actually go abroad. What's in this application? Well, the entire application is online at heelsabroad.unc.edu. That you can get to from the general study abroad side, or you can just type that in specifically. Applications will require an unofficial transcript. So you don't need to go out and order an official one, but there are instructions for how to get an unofficial transcript. There are short answer questions that help you explain the fit and your interest in the program. There's a $50 application fee that's due either using your one card or in person via check in the office at UNC Global on the FedEx Global building. You'll have some disclaimers, some waivers that help you understand what you're taking on, the risks you're taking on to study abroad. For our internship programs, we always ask for a recommendation form to be completed by a faculty member. That's partially because when we work with internship partners, sometimes they're asking for references for you. And so this is an easy way to just send them a reference from your application rather than having to chase them down and slowing down the internship process later. We'll also ask you for a copy of your resume, which we will help you to refine before you get an internship with our Honors Carolina career coaches. And then we'd like to have some of your initial internship ideas. What kinds of organizations would you like to intern with, and what kind of role would you like to take? Again, not binding, but at least the first time we're asking the question so you can keep thinking about it. This is what the application system looks like. You'll have different requirements. I hope you can see this little bubble that I'm circling here that shows you the number of requirements that are still incomplete. You'll have different requirements at each phase of studying abroad. So before the decision, you'll have a certain number of requirements, which will mean that your application is complete. Once you get a decision like that you were accepted into a program, then you'll have a different set of requirements that populate into this application. And then while you're abroad and when you return, there are also a few sets of requirements like program evaluations and some re-entry programming that we think is very helpful for students who have studied abroad. The application cycles are the same every year, which is really helpful for all of us. If you want to study abroad or if you want to be off campus, you should plan to apply in the semester prior to when you'll be gone. So for the summer, fall, and academic year cycle, that's the one we're in right now. Applications just opened on Monday, November 15th every year, and they close on February 10th. For most programs, there's really no rush. There's no need to apply early. I would recommend not leaving your application to the last day only because of things like the application fee, which sometimes takes a couple days to process. So plan to get some of your things in before February 10th, but that is the deadline for the summer and fall and academic year cycle. And then the spring programs, the applications open over the summer, usually by August 1st, and then they close September 10th. So you have the very beginning of each term ahead of the one that you're going to take to enroll in your program. And part of the reason that we do it this way is so that you know if you're studying abroad prior to registration, because you won't be registering for the coming term through the normal process. You'll be registering through your program. One thing to know is that you can only apply to one program at a time. Most programs are not terribly competitive. Obviously, it depends on the program, but just commit to the program that you want to participate in. And if it is more competitive, we can have a conversation about how to get you to the experience that you want to have, either through another program or through a future term. You can find all sorts of resources on the Study Abroad website, studyabroad.unc.edu, and you can find more details about all of our programs through Honors Carolina at honorscarolina.unc.edu, and there's a global honors page specifically for our programs abroad. The application system, as I mentioned before, is called the HeelsAbroad Portal. It's at heelsabroad.unc.edu, and we recommend that you use that program search tool to explore all the different opportunities for programs through that are approved through UNC Study Abroad. When you find the program that works for you, you can either save it and come back, or you can click Apply Now. If you click on an application, that means that it'll open the application for you for that term. That will be your program application for the term. So if you wanted to change your mind through the application period, you'd need to contact a study abroad advisor, and they'd be happy to switch your application for you. Once you click Apply Now, everything that you do within that application will be saved, and it will be completed at the completed date. But there's also a submit button that will let us know that you have submitted all of your final pieces for your application. This is what that search function looks like, and here's my part here. If you're looking for internship programs, the program features under parameters, if you select internship, you can see all the different programs that can offer you an internship experience. Most students have questions about the internship identification process. We put together this model so that students can generally see what the process looks like. It's certainly different in every program, and Honors Carolina and the SHUFORD program and our partners are here to help you. But we think we can help you better when you're able to help yourself and understand what the industries and roles are in the actual target location that you're looking at. So if you're going to London, we want you to know who are the main players in your area of interest in London. Who are the people who would provide you with a really interesting learning experience? We definitely want to support you to reach out and network through your personal connections, but also through UNC connections in these targeted companies. And we are certainly willing to make introductions where we have strong contacts in all of these areas. So it's a little bit of helping yourself and a little bit of us helping and facilitating the internships. And that's just going to be based on what kind of experience you're looking for. So there are some areas where we may have stronger connections, where there's like one person who we always go to. But if you wanted to identify a different opportunity, we are always supportive of that, so long as it meets the requirements for the academic portion of the internship that we need. I know that health and safety is on everyone's mind, especially throughout this COVID pandemic, which pretty much shut down study abroad for quite some time. And we are excited to be back up and running. And we are back up and running because of some of the changes that we have made to study abroad. Now, we understand and acknowledge that all travel involves some risk, and that every country is dealing with the pandemic and actually lots of other health and safety procedures in a very different way. That's part of the learning of study abroad as well. But some of the things we've done to help mitigate the risks of COVID are to put in place some virtual study abroad programs. So there are lots of institutions abroad that are offering either courses or actual like study abroad experiential things through the virtual world, which are really interesting programs. We've had additional risk assessment procedures, so that helps us determine whether a program is viable for the upcoming term. And we look at that at several different deadlines, several different points throughout the process. So we're trying to make sure that while the situation changes, we're keeping an eye on what it looks like on the ground. We thoroughly brief students during our pre-departure sessions to help you understand what the local guidance is, but also to make sure that you have what you need to keep yourself safe. And then in some cases, we will make changes to the program itineraries in order to keep the program safer and more likely to complete itself in full. We encourage you to stay in touch with Study Abroad. You can sign up to receive the monthly newsletter from the bottom of the website homepage, studyabroad.unc.edu. There are some awesome Instagram takeovers and events as well, info sessions on Facebook. We encourage you to go there to look at those opportunities. Honors Carolina also has some great content related to study abroad that is interspersed with some of our other Instagram content. So you're welcome to look there for some of those programs. And we actually also have a study abroad and fellowships newsletter that only comes out about 3 or 4 times for every application cycle, just to remind students of what programs are open this coming cycle, when the deadlines are, and reminding you and helping you to apply. All right, I will leave us up for questions now. I'm very happy to help. I see that Jaya has raised her hand.
Hi, yes, I just had a couple of quick questions about the programs.
Sounds great.
First, for the $50 application fee, is that does that apply every time you apply for study abroad? And how many programs can you apply for at the same time?
So everybody should apply for only one program in any given term. You only need to apply for your top program for that term. I would say that the $50 application fee, it depends. If you apply for a program and then it's canceled or something happens that you can't study abroad, then you can use that $50 application fee. We'll waive it for a future term. However, if you are doing study abroad like multiple different terms, then that $50 application fee will go with each new term that you're studying abroad. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. And just one other question. So applying is non-binding in the sense that like I could apply for a program, then if I decide like it's not the best fit for me at a certain time, just not do it then?
Yep, that's absolutely true. So you can definitely apply, make sure you're doing your research to understand what commitment to that program means. And then we'll have a commitment date that's roughly 2 weeks after your notification date.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Are there any other questions that I can answer before we go? All right, well, I'm very pleased that you took the time with me this afternoon, and I wish you good luck in identifying the right program for you. Let your friends know for sure as well that honors internship programs and any other study abroad program through Honors Carolina are not just for honors students. And good luck. Hopefully we'll see you soon and help you find your proper opportunity to study abroad. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.